Hello everyone, so this is James, and as I mentioned in a previous video, what I was going to do is play through each of the flagships in the 26 Flagships mod of mine, but I'm also going to, while I'm doing that, I need to play through the rest of the game, so I may as well demonstrate my ZHO CE Mod 2. So I'm going to separate that into two parts. One is going to be a little overview of each ship as I acquire it, and then I end. And after that, I will actually start the game, because obviously, just because there's 26 flagships doesn't mean there's only going to be 26 games, because I'll lose a bunch of times. I'm quite sure of that. So all the times I try with a particular ship, I'll just link it back to the video where I talk about that ship's starting loadout. So for this particular one, we're looking at the Kestrel, because obviously I'm deleting my profile. Oh yeah, there's something else I should mention here, is that I can be a bit of a nitpicky person who wants to win every single game. So here I'm starting with a clean profile, and you're gonna see everything recorded, and so if I screw up on something, I'm accountable to the viewers, because I'm not going to delete my profile after this. I mean, my goal is to record all my games, but I might play other games on the side. That's sort of the drawback of FTL saving, is that you can't play two games at the same time. But anyway, the Kestrel. So here's our starting loadout. We got 3 weapons: an adaptive focus beam Mark II, a burst scatter laser Mark I, and a bow mine launcher. Now, the original Kestrel obviously has an Artemis missile launcher and a burst laser Mark II, which is insane firing power, to put it mildly. If the missile shoots at the shields, then the original Kestrel has a potential damage of 5 and potential system damage of 5 right out the door. Here, with only 3 weapons power, we only can actually manage to do 2 of these weapons at once. One is the burst scatter laser in either the adaptive or the bow. What's notable about the mine launcher is that in Captain's Edition, having a mine launcher lets you use missiles to actually skip jumps, and that's really the primary purpose of the mine launcher. If you'll notice, well, I can't actually put the mouse there, but the damage for the bow mine launcher is 4. The AI's damage is 3, and the point of that is I gave all the human mine launchers, and only the mine launchers, +1 damage each, because their primary purpose really is to use the missiles for slowing down the rebel fleet. And so without being able to do any system damage, and while having a fairly substantial charge time, that little perk on the mine launcher actually gives it the possibility of, you know, taking out a ship quickly. But this isn't a good plan, because you need to take down systems usually to not take so much damage. So what we have left is the burst scatter laser with an adaptive focus beam, which can get up to 3 damage, which is as good as a burst laser Mark II eventually, after it charges up, and then it can never miss. So this has good longevity. The bow mine launcher, with slowing down the fleet, will also have good longevity, because it'll let you skip all those empty beacons and put them to use. Finally, the burst scatter laser. For 1 power, 2 shots, it's just a good way to take down shields. You know what, let's just hit the start button here. That way I can show you, you know what, starting in a nebula, I'm not even going to bother using my mine launcher, that's a waste. So if we go to our ship here, this is an easier visualization, I think. As I mentioned, the prices for systems in my mod are slightly different, and so because the weapons are slightly weaker than you would see in the normal Kestrel, what we have here is 1 extra shield point. So getting to 2 shields actually only costs 75 instead of 100 for this ship. So this is a feasible option for us. Another option is we only need 1 more engine to get 4, which saves us some time when we go to a new sector. It's also an extra starting engine over the regular Kestrel, so that's good. We also have a second piloting, which is good for several missions, and a second oxygen, so we're not running out of that. So what's lacking in weaponry is made up with the extra jumps from the mine launcher and extra points in various systems that'll help us in mild and subtle ways over the time. So what I'm going to be looking for, my general strategy, depending on what I find, is a small weapon to add onto the burst scatter laser so that when I find 2 and 3 shield enemies, my adaptive focus laser can still be useful. And depending what I find, shield upgrade because it's still cheap with this ship, maybe engines so I get more chances to jump. That's it for my intro for this ship. Really, that's all I wanted to do, is just discuss what the layout is for. Something else I didn't mention before, which I should mention, is that the layout of all the ships in this mod. If you notice, like, there's some websites you can go to where it shows how much each ship in the original loadouts, how much all the weapons and crew and everything cost, and it adds up to a certain amount of scrap, and some of them are more powerful or weaker than others. In my mod, I've been very specific, using the scrap values that are in this mod to bring every single ship to within 5 scrap of 1,000. And without going over. And so every single ship is balanced according to that schematic, which means they're going to be very balanced, but they are all quite different, and I think you'll find them all interesting. So with that, I'm going to end this recording, post it up, and I'll start a new recording, which it will be this game that I'm about to play. Take care.